focusing on what is going on within the APC. We've got Dr. Samson Jaja, who is a member of the Board of Trustees of the APC, joining us from Abuja. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us today on the program.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you very much for inviting me.
All right. Well, having seen the way the primaries has played out in Edo State, for those who agree, you think that they should be willing to let sleeping dogs lie now?
I will say, when you invited me to this program, my decision is to come here and pour out my indignation at the way the NWC has been carrying on its activities of administering the party. But having been made to know that Mr. President, the leader of the party, will be intervening in the crisis, it has actually withered down my resentment and, of course, the way I'm going to go about this issue. I really do not want to be judgmental now, which is what I would have done ordinarily without the Mr. President showing interest in what is happening. So the primaries that took place in Edo State is still contentious. Yes, it's taking place, but some factions of the NWC are also not in alignment with what happened in Edo State yesterday. So like I said, I don't want to be judgmental. So when you say allowing the sleeping dog to lie, that lies with the NWC themselves. If they were allowed the sleeping dog to lie, it's not of me to talk about that.
Well, when you speak about the president going to intervene, is it clear-cut that he will? And what manner of intervention do you expect? Because there are those who are asking for different things. Some say the NWC needs to go. Some say let's convene in NEC to sort all of this out once and for all. What do you expect?
Yes, the president has a lot more information than any one of us. He's been meeting with different segments of the party, different individuals, different groups. Apart from the organs he has not met with. So he has a lot of information as to how to go about it. But if you ask me, I will tell you that categorically that the NWC had failed the party completely. They had failed the party without remedy. They had blatantly raped the constitution of the party. They have no moral justification to even say anything that concerns the progress of the party because they don't have the progress of the party at heart. So it behoves the party now to convoke the National Executive Meeting to take a proper way. Do you know that the party has no board of trustees who would have been handling these issues, who would have been intervening, who would have been mediating? I mean, it's an insult. It's an insult to the psyche, to the intelligence of every member of this party. That a party, a great party like this, a ruling party, has no fundamental organ that is supposed to be the custodian, the conscience of the party. The NWC is a failure as far as I'm concerned.
But you are a member of the Board of Trustees of the APC. So when you say there is no Board of Trustees, what exactly are you talking about?
Yeah, we were about 161 persons that were appointed members of the Board of Trustees from our separate areas. But we've not been inaugurated. So we cannot be operating from our homes. It's just that on paper. Ordinarily, would have even been ending our 4 years.
But what's supposed to be?
Now, the first tenure of the Board of Trustees has not been inaugurated. The party has never had Board of Trustees. They have not had the conscience of the party. The people who are supposed to are betrayed.
So what is supposed to be the role of the Board of Trustees?
Crisis.
Yeah, just one moment. What is supposed to be the role of the Board of Trustees, and why has no one raised any issue about the fact that the trustees, the board hasn't been inaugurated?
That has been raised severally. That has been raised severally. There are papers even going around now on that issue. A lot of people have talked about it. But for the reason best known to the NWC, they have refused to inaugurate the Board of Trustees. And their role, they are the conscience of the party. They are the custodians of the assets of the party. They are to mediate, intervene in crisis in the party. They are to ratify all appointments, all committees appointed. They have critical roles to play. They are the interpreters of the constitution of the party. And this organ, and also a body, has not been inaugurated. And of course, that's where we find ourselves.
Dr. Jaja, he has said for him, that's Honorable Sage, he believes that Mr. Victor Giadom is the main issue here. You think it's the NWC. Some will say he's also part of the NWC. But you know what? Help us clear the air on that. Do you agree with Honorable Osage?
Well, I definitely do not agree with Honorable Osage. Gentlemen, I am a fundamental core stakeholder in this party from beginning. I want to preserve this party, which I labored for, which I suffered for. I was one of the 4 signatories to the Memorandum of Understanding between the APC and the new PDP. And therefore, I cannot be seen to be taking sides to destroy the party. Calling names is absolutely not the right thing to do. Insinuating that people from outside are penetrating the NWC is absolutely wrong. If the NWC is doing something wrong, point it out. They have blatantly disrespected and disregarded the Constitution, and that is where the problem is coming from. And like I told, I don't want to be judgmental. If we go into depth of what the NWC has done, they have no moral right to still be there. It's not a question of singling out somebody. What culminated into Victor asking to be the chairman? And of course, if he had gotten a court order to be the chairman, and you are true leaders, you go along with him and you had the number, as you say, in a meeting. You know how to go about it. I will not come now to lay my party bare before the public, before the international community. It is not done, most especially when my president is going to intervene. I don't just need to prejudice the position of my president. I have my own bias and prejudice too. But I wouldn't come here to accuse anybody. I'm accusing the body of the National Working Committee of having done things wrongly, of having disrespected the Constitution they have sworn to uphold. And that is where the core of the crisis lies. A lot of things had gone wrong. They have done so many things that angers most of us who are fundamental stakeholders in this venture. It's not calling names. It's not justifying whatever position you are taking. What is wrong is wrong. And it's been happening over and over and over and over again. It's not the first time.
Exactly the issue.
It's not just that Victor is from Rivers State, and that's what ordinarily I wouldn't have wanted to come, because people look at my opinion here as being biased. No. I'm being realistic.
The point that I was going to raise is exactly what you just brought up, that these things have gone on for so long, and some even say that as a result of the activities that you have pointed out, your party has lost a number of states, and now the president is intervening. Some might say that's a little too late in time. What would you say?
Well, it's not too late. It's better late than never. It's not too late. The party has not crashed, The people are just there fostering their own personal interests. Whatever you're accusing A is also applicable to B. It is their interest that they are protecting and not the party. If they are working for the party, we wouldn't have gotten to where we are. And I avoid, like I tell you, it's my party, and I avoid saying anything that will bring my party to disrepute. And that is what exactly they are doing. You bring the party outside and you wash it and spread it without having the cause to know that it is the core institution that puts all of us together in this political system.
Please, Dr. Jaja, could you go ahead, please?
Yes, let me just address few issues raised by Honorable Osage. First, he talked about APC being there before the new PDP and the MOU. Yes, I never said APC was not there before the amalgam of new PDP with APC. But I said that I am fundamental to the amalgamation of new APC and new PDP. APC have been there, but they needed the support of the new PDP to be stronger. And that was what we gave. That support we gave helped us to be who we are now as a party in this nation, a ruling party. And that by reason of signing that memorandum of understanding, I am a core stakeholder. Nobody can take that away from me. That's that. And the issue of my contesting as the national chairman in 2014, no, I never contested. I declared interest to contest for the chairmanship of the party in 2014, and I bought form to contest for that election when eminent and well-respected leaders of the party invited me and pleaded with me not to contest for good reasons they gave to me why I should shelve that idea. Being a party man and being interested in ensuring that the party wins, what should that sacrifice be? What sacrifice could I make other than to adhere to such advice? The form is still with me. I wasn't paid back the money I paid to collect the form. I respected the leaders of the party, and I didn't contest. So I wasn't a contestant. I was an interested person. I was an aspirant. And the next thing he said is that I had never mentioned one thing the NWC did that is wrong. Of course, to start with, I said that I wouldn't want to disparage my party, most especially when the president has declared interest to intervene in the crisis. So to be foolhardy, coming here now to begin to enumerate what they had done wrong. And of course, if we said the party should not go to court, then why should I bring my party to the public court to disrepute? Whatever thing I said about the NWC, the offenses they had committed against the Constitution, the infractions, I'm denigrating my party publicly. This can be handled internally. It can be handled inside. The people who are supposed to mediate, if they invite me, then I'll tell them exactly what they had done wrong. But I mentioned one thing that is fundamental, which cannot be swept under the carpet. And that is the fact that BOT has not been inaugurated since inception. Is that not sufficient an offense? And he said I had not done that. And again, when we begin to talk about people fueling crisis, then that means the people at the NWC are not qualified. If you're a man of your own, integrity, it becomes difficult for anybody to manipulate you to cause crisis in a party you belong. You don't put fire in a house you are ruling, a house you are leading, because somebody from outside is asking you. If you have your onions, if you know what you are expected to do, if you are qualified to be where you are, you should be able to hold your ground and say no to certain things, to certain requests.
Now, Dr. Jaja, ever since you showed interest to, maybe become the chairman of the party, to this point, things have not been entirely clear-cut. One big question a lot of people still ask, at least people watching from outside, is who is the national chairman of the APC? Maybe from an inside view, you have a clearer perspective. So hopefully we hope to clear this one. So who are you interfacing with, as a member of the BOT? What's your perspective on that?
I'm not interfacing with anybody, but Victor Giadam has a court a pronouncement that he should act for 2 weeks. Is that too much of a sacrifice if we love the party? 2 weeks, and it's not a sole administrator. All the NWC put together will be just the chairman. At that point in time, you can do anything within. You can equally remove him within. I mean, we should respect the court of the land. That pronouncement has been made, so we shouldn't be tearing ourselves apart. We should just respect the court. We are, a law-abiding political party. And then also, what is it? Well, it is this particular interest we are talking about, Mr. Sergey is talking about. You know, it's interest that is playing out. Personal interest playing out. Probably being fueled from outside, from the right and from the left. And that's why they disrespect the party. They disrespect every one of us who are members of the... I've not been to the party secretary for years because they have no need to calling me. A man who signed an MOU for a party, you don't know what they are doing.
Okay,
as if you have no opinion. I was the deputy national chairman of a ruling party in this country.
Right.
Don't I have sufficient experience on party leadership to even advise? I don't want to blow my trumpet. I don't want to go that way. But the thing is that I'm sufficiently angered by the way they are tearing the party apart, by the way they are disrespecting the constitution they swore to uphold. It's not to come here and begin to cover anybody, protect anybody. They are totally had done things that are not supposed to be done, and that bringing the party to public ridicule. And no, there's no justifiable reason for that.
But Dr. Jaja, you heard some of the issues that he's raised about this court judgment and those who disagree with it. Do you think then that having said that, that explains why is it justifiable, the actions of the party, based on his explanations?
Chamberlain, leadership entails a lot of wisdom, application of wisdom at every level, most especially at the political party level, where diverse interests and opinions are harnessed to achieve the goal of the party. If no matter how the court order was brought about, it is not for you to begin to interpret whether it was rightly or wrongly. Was there a court pronouncement? Yes, there was. Then what should you do as a leader with wisdom? Is to accept the court judgment, let him convoke a meeting. At the meeting, you appeal to him. You say, look, Victor, there is this, there is this, there is this. Let us do it this way. Dialogue is not tearing the party apart, coming to the public. You apply wisdom. That he is the acting chairman doesn't make him an autocrat. An acting chairman has to administer with other officers. And if all other officers put together and say, yes, we'll obey the court order. Okay, you've presided over this meeting and all that, but we are saying that this cannot be this way, this cannot be this way. Let us do it this way. They will all understand and agree. If they don't agree, you also have the constitutional right to say, you cannot lead us if we go it this way. And not for you to begin to say that this man said that. Why wouldn't the man go to court and tell the court that I wasn't part of that and let the court vacate what he has, the court has given? Is it in your place to begin to pick holes in a court judgment? There is a higher court, a superior court, to pick that hole, not you. Obey that court order. Use judgment, use wisdom. The issue is that when we are prejudiced already, when we are biased already, when we bring out our primordial sentiments into leadership, it fails. And that is what is playing out. You're already biased. Behind you, you had an intention. So whatever thing that's coming, you look for any way to scuttle it. Instead of using wisdom, even if we want to, please, this is my party, and I don't want to, like I said, I'm trying to restrain myself from saying things I should say in the private. It's a party thing. I am not debating with an opposition party. At that point, I should be able to come out fully. But I'm talking about my party. There are certain things I don't need to say on television. And it's not just an in-house thing. So they have not applied wisdom in this instance.
That's, what you have said just now is valid in that you do not want to disparage your party in public. What makes it of concern to Nigerians is the ruling party at the center and has a significant number of states under its ambit. And talking about states, one of the governors have begun to appeal to Mr. President to intervene in this matter. And it is because the issues in the APC are spreading, have already spread to so many states already. Some say it's the same reason that, a significant number of states were lost, and, there is crisis in Edo APC. There is also crisis in Ondo APC. If these issues continue, what do you see happening to your party? And for those who may not be at that meeting, where the meetings that you are proposing, what do you expect them to begin to do now to redress the issues in the APC?
Yeah, we have great leaders in the APC. We have the governors who, in their wisdom, they had watched from the sideline and had decided to approach Mr. President, who is capable and able to resolve this issue. It wouldn't escalate. We've watched Adetunde so much in the public. Mr. President is up now, the governors are up, and they're equal to the task. I'm pretty sure that sooner or later, this problem will come to an end.
You talked about now, do you think they were valid?
Pardon?
You said that some party members have prejudices before they go, which inform some of the actions that they take. Some perhaps feel that they have been shortchanged. Some perhaps feel that they have been sidetracked. Consequently, they are also taking action to protect themselves. Do you think it's valid, their prejudices?
Well, I don't know what their prejudices are, so I can't justify or condemn their prejudices because they are not before me. But I think if they relay it to the appropriate quarters, they'll be able to look into their prejudice. I have mine. I really have mine. So we have where to solve it. But everybody who is prejudiced has a right to, and then of course has a reason to. And then when the solution will be found, everything will be tinkered together, and then we'll come out of this crisis stronger and better.
One of those prejudices, if you like the word, was expressed in our conversation with Honorable Agunaima last week, who said that the governor of Edo State wasn't carrying people along in the party, and consequently that perhaps made him and a number of other people in the APC in Edo State, significantly, displeased with the governor. And that's something that a number of people would probably say, look, this is why where we are vested, we have vested interest in this party. Do you think that kind of prejudice is valid?
Well, you are bringing me also into the judgment. To what I said, I don't want to go into judgment. This we can discuss in-house. And of course, the governor of this state had left our party for obvious reasons. So I wouldn't want to, but everybody has a right to his prejudice. But it's not my place here because I don't have the details of the complaints they are making. And the government is not given a chance before me to respond to those prejudices. So it will be quite unwise for me to sit down here and begin to justify their prejudices or condemn it.
What we want to hear is, how you see things, because people watching, for example, they might not clearly understand what's going on. They just see, issues on the dailies and what have you, but they would like to get first-hand information, which thankfully I believe is what you've been given us. So regarding yesterday's primary, a lot of people are wondering, well, what do we believe? Did a primary really happen? Did it not happen? How do we move forward from here? Especially because we're building up to the big election in September. So regarding that primary, how should people interpret it, really?
You see, you journalists, you are like lawyers. You dribble somebody this way, like Okocha, and you dribble the person this way, and all you are just going to the same way. All is aiming at the same goal. I cannot answer those questions. It is left for the body. It is my party. If it is wrong, it's left for the leadership of the party to say it's wrong. If it is right, it's left for the leadership of the party to say it's right. I cannot put my party into judgment on television. But if we're in-house, I have my opinion.
Okay. Now, speak to the concerns of those who are not members of the APC, but who see these things happening, the electorate. For instance, in Edo State, there are two factions in the party now. From where you stand as an elder, I mean, what do you think their mindset is now, the people of Edo State? Because the concern is, how do all these things concern the people? What would you say?
Yeah, I'm also worried about the people, but what I want to reassure them is that within the shortest possible time, before the campaign starts in earnest, we must have resolved all of them. So they should be rest assured that APC will come out strong. That's my appeal to them. They shouldn't get worried. In every big house, there must be conflict, but the important thing is the ability to resolve this conflict in time, and then the house carries along. In a family of a big number, definitely there will be dissenting opinions. But the important thing is for the father of the family to resolve the dissenting opinions of the children, and then the family moves ahead as one united body. And that's exactly what is going to happen to our party.
Well, yesterday, there were protests in Abuja. Some people asking NWC to go. And then there were dissenting voices in different parts. People disagree sharply about different things. But after the governors of Plateau, Jigawa, and Kebbi met with the president, the Jigawa State, one of the governors there, I think Kebbi, he did say, look, for the fact that people are able to voice their opinion and their concerns shows that, yes, you do have that democratic norm and tenet within the party to voice their opinion. Don't you think that they will understand if we are to make some of those concerns known? Because they say, look, this is what our party stands for.
Yes. In a democracy, it is important for people to make their opinions known. But if it is an in-house opinion, what's the point taking it to the public? My opinion is in-house. And I know that we have machinery to listen to me in-house. So I don't need to bring it to the public. If I bring it to the public, I might be offending others. I might be offending a lot of persons who ordinarily would have listened to me in-house and agreed with me, will want to grandstand and, of course, oppose it, no matter what it is. You respect a man and tell him his fault, he will accept it. But if you want to grandstand, to tell the man you know much more, and you can go to the public and you ridicule the man, I mean, you can say to hell with you. So I want peace. So whatever my opinion is that is wrong, I will discuss it in-house. Whoever I need to blame, I will look at the person straight in the eyes and tell him, you did something wrong. Whoever I need to commend, I look at the person straight to his eyes and tell him, your actions are commendable. And then, of course, we settle our differences in-house. But bringing it to the public, watching identity list to the public, I may hurt the people who ordinarily will have accepted my opinion, and they will refuse it. And then, of course, I've not done the party any good.
Yesterday, having emerged as the governorship candidates of the APC in Edo State, Mr. Ezeyamu did say that means that the party is on the path to recovery. So do you think that there will be any point whatsoever to undo the primaries for those who are aggrieved who may want to go to court? Yes, that has to be accepted, and people will then find a way to move on from there.
Yes, why not? If you talk to people's conscience, if you disregard people, then they can take the extreme action. If you invite them and talk to their conscience, definitely they are humans. I mean, nobody benefits anything from litigations. No, litigation is the last option, just to prove that my rights shall not be trampled upon. But if you appeal to the conscience of somebody, I mean, what is the point? After all, we're all in this game together to ensure that the party wins. If the party wins, it's better for everybody. If the party loses, it's a loss for everybody. So nobody will be interested in undoing the party by seeking redress in the court if remedies can be found in-house.